keep your crypto off of the exchanges. In order to do that, you need a cold storage wallet. For that, you can use Ledger. Ledger is a very safe open source cold storage wallet, and with a purchase with using my link, you get up to $20 in Bitcoin back for free. You also get $20 in USDT back for free when you use my link in the description to sign up for Uphold now. And last but not least, Caleb and Brown. For one-to-one support for your crypto, a one-to-one advisor and a one-to-one broker. Please lock in, and you are able to call your Caleb and Brown broker in real time any day, 24/7, 7 days a week, guys. This is the way to go when it comes to offloading and accumulating your crypto. All right, use the link in the description to check that out. I 100% highly recommend that. Full disclosure, I do get a kickback, but it is okay, guys. With that being said, let's get into the video and lock the fuck in. You feel me? No face, no guys. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NoFaceCrypto channel. Where there's no face, no guys. You feel me? On the back of the largest liquidation event in crypto history, worth about $20 billion in liquidations. All right, I want to give you guys a full explanation of exactly what happened and why this was kind of like a perfect storm for the worst liquidation event in crypto history. And with that being said, you can avoid all of this by just not trading with leverage. If you don't know what that means, I'm not going to explain it because it doesn't even matter. You shouldn't even be doing it. So, when you are buying crypto, you want no cut on that asset. You know, if you're buying some shit in the streets, you don't want no cut on that shit. Do you know what I'm saying? So, why would you want to buy your digital assets with leverage and other people's money when you can buy it with your own money? Yeah, it might suck. It might take a little bit longer. It might be harder. But you can stack up your own bread and buy your own digital assets on your own, and you can take custody of those. They are yours forever. Cold storage, digital assets, spot positions, 24/7 crypto brokerage just for you. Don't use exchanges. We saw during this crash that people were trying to buy up on generational bottoms, and they weren't getting fills because of this, because of the craziness going on in the market, and exchanges are not here to help you. And I hope this all has helped you guys notice that. But, you know, with that being said, you guys can go ahead over in the link in the description and click the Caleb and Brown link to receive your 24/7 broker. You can make these purchases and sales over the counter when this stuff happens. This person will talk to you, they will guide you through the entire process, and you can call them completely free. You can open an account completely free, and they are available 24/7. Get off the exchanges, guys. Get off of the exchanges. Link in the description below. Full disclosure, I get a percentage, but it does not matter, guys. Go ahead, click the link, and investigate for yourself. Even if you don't want to use that link, go ahead and look at the website yourself. Alright, get off these exchanges. Get off of Binance. Get off of Coinbase. Get off of Uphold. If I want to sell or buy my crypto, I can do that right now by making one phone call and talking to a real person. So lock in. But with that being said, I'm going to have this guy explain exactly what happened in this event and why you guys need to be paying attention. Do not trade leverage unless it's like I'll open a leverage position on a crypto if I think it's going to go up or down. Maybe like $50, 10x leverage if I really believe it. And I'll catch them every once in a while. But I'm saying like every few months. It's gambling, so don't put any serious money into it, guys, please. Alright, please let this guy explain exactly what happened here. He's very concise, and honestly, I support his narrative here. It is pretty cut and dry. But with that being said, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with our government right now. The shutdown is organized. This tariff beef, this economic warfare, it's organized. Alright? Everyone was waiting for a utility run. So they place long on utility coins. This is fact. So, while we're all waiting, let's go ahead and start a small economic war and say we're going to put 100% tariffs on China, drop the stock market, drop Bitcoin and in turn completely liquidating all the longs that were on all the utility coins, which is fine. But this is why you guys have to have spot positions, and I really hope nobody who watches my channel got liquidated. I mean, or has all their crypto in long bit like please tell me you guys aren't doing this shit. All right. Anyway,
read of what happened. So I want to explain to everyone why this actually happened, because I think that's very important to understand what was at play that caused this move, and then obviously we can get into what we're actually doing. So Paradise, if you don't mind, can I go through the reasons why this happened?
Yeah, bro. Teach me some stuff. Let's go.
So the truth, and I did a post about this, and I'll paraphrase parts of it. The truth about this crypto crash is that it was really the perfect storm. So the risk factor in the space was actually a lot higher than people thought. So typically, people will attribute two things to risk: either euphoria or funding. Now, the problem in the market was that funding was actually a bit disguised, because there's lots of airdrop farmers that were basically farming delta neutral. So funding wasn't overly aggressive, which is typically a sign of over leverage. But what was getting aggressive, as you can see in front of you, was the open interest for the altcoin market. So as it says here, concern around altcoin open interest has been growing for months. Wasn't a question of if, but rather what and when the trigger would be. We needed three conditions. Bitcoin needed to get rinsed and trigger alts to go lower. Exchanges and MMs needed to push limits past 5 to 10% on alts. Illiquid window, which was delivered on a Friday afternoon after the market closed. So it created this perfect storm. Basically what happened was Trump came out and he talked about China and tariffs, and that triggered stocks to go down. That triggered Bitcoin to go down. And then that triggered a massive unwinding of this perp trade. So the very weird thing about that environment and why it was the perfect storm for a big wick is because over the last month, the entire narrative of the market had shifted from people on spot to leverage. So if you think about Asta and Lighter and EdgeX and Hyperliquid, like all of these airdrop farmers, not just retail, but also funds, were basically taking advantage of incentives. So people that normally would have longed Bitcoin like on spot, instead were now incentivized to long Bitcoin on a 1x or long Bitcoin on a 2x. They thought their positions were relatively low risk, but that would enable them to actually earn airdrops. So people had shifted from spot positioning to leverage positioning, and you could see this trend happening over many, many months. What that created was an over-leveraged altcoin environment. So then when we had the trigger, which was the tariffs, and when we had it on a relatively illiquid Friday evening, and combined with the fact that many altcoin valuations are like overinflated as they are because the underlying liquidity is mismatched, that resulted in a record-breaking wipeout of $20 billion plus liquidated in the market. Now, I'm also hearing, and I'm not going to name any names because I'm not sure, frankly, but I'm also hearing that a couple major market makers and funds either blew up or at least were forced to puke a significant chunk of their altcoin collateral that they were using to leverage against and probably execute some of these more advanced strategies. So that also added fuel to the fire, resulting in a lot of altcoins just shooting to the floor. So it's a very weird set of circumstances. It's not your typical set of circumstances that cause this dip. Like usually there'll be some external black swan, and the market will react accordingly. But this was very much like a smaller trigger in the scheme of things, but the perfect storm for a crypto liquidation event. So there's a few learnings here that I want to go through, and then we'll get onto what we're doing. Firstly, prices aren't even with risk. So people think that because prices are okay, the risk factor in the market must be okay. Like if altcoin prices were fairly low, right? So you'd think, okay, the risk isn't that high because the market isn't overheated. It's not overheated. So typically what you'd look at is funding, but because there was a lot of hedging and delta neutrality going on with the farming strategies, so people going long on one exchange, short on another exchange, it covered up the real story. And the only indicator that was showing the real story was altcoin open interest. But even so, this wasn't telling the full picture because not all of the data is fully transparent, especially with the DEX oracles. Like for example, an exchange like Asta only reports their front end volume. They don't actually report the breakdowns behind the scenes. So the DEX market and the centralized exchange market didn't fully, I don't think, tell the full story here. The second learning is that market cap isn't indicative of liquidity. So many altcoins had massive wicks. They were multi-billion, like Atom was multi-billion. It wicked like literally below $1. But that can happen if they're not that liquid, especially on perps. If the order books aren't that liquid, and you have one market maker pulling.
All right, you guys pretty much get the point there. All right, so listen, with the evolving of the crypto market, all right, a few years ago, like no one was really placing a lot of longs like that and stuff, and now you got everyone. I mean, everyone, even me. Like, you go on BitUnex and just go ahead and place a long on a short for 10, 20x. You know, if you hit one, you hit, and you get a lot of money. But it is gambling, and that's why if you don't even have spot positions set up and you don't even have a chunk of crypto that is just long term forever, what are you even doing? So, you know, what happened here, yeah, very obvious. But what this guy is saying about, you know, a small trigger, tariffs, this and that, guys, I'm going to say something very controversial here. Tariffs are fake. They're not even real. Like, tariffs for what? So you want to put tariffs on another country in US dollars, but you print the US dollars, right? So what are we talking about here, right? Money is fake. None of this shit is even real, right? Crypto might be the realest money we ever have. And I know that's crazy. And yes, this is high manipulation, but think about it. If you're a big institution, if you're all these banks and you're Schwab and you're all these people, right, getting together in a room saying, damn, let's cash out real quick, wouldn't you do it before regulations are fully in and we are required to be put in a new system? We're in a government blackout right now. Our government is shut down. Of course they did this during a government shutdown. I mean, come on, guys. So none of this is surprising here. Everyone just needs to hold patient, stay patient. But this was an opportunity for the institutions and all these rich people to get in lower. They manipulated this to get in lower. I guarantee it. They all bought, and there's people who had shorts on this. Who the heck had a short on utility coins right now? Exactly. So that's about it. That's about all I have to say. And I'm going to get out of here for the day. I got a lot of stuff to do, and you know, I've been dealing with a lot outside of this channel, so not my priority right now. But you know, I'll upload when I can, if I can. This is very important, so I want everyone to understand. Like cold storage, 24/7 broker, Caleb and Brown. All right, get off of the exchanges. Stop placing longs and shorts on all these cryptos. Right? We know what the winners are going to be. So that's why I could give two shits that this even happened. I actually, like, literally, when I saw this, I got into my car, right? I'm just hanging out for a second. I look at my phone, because earlier in the day, like crypto it was already minus a few percent, which is just, that's just a daily occurrence. But then I look at my phone, and everything's like 30, 40, 50%. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So I look, and then I see Trump said this stuff about the tariffs and all that. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I literally laughed when I saw this. Because if you have positions and you've been in for long enough, this didn't even affect you. And I know that sounds crazy to people who might be new to crypto, but this is a blip in the map, and we're going to be on the road to golden success probably in a matter of weeks. But understand that this government shutdown is organized, all right? This manipulation was organized for institutions to get in at a lower price before the ETFs go live, 100%. Now, I'm going to get out of here. I want to say before I leave, I am not suicidal in any way, shape, or form. And enjoy this song. You feel me?
Masked up tight like a thief in the dark. No face, no case, that's the spark of his art. Charts crashing, burning like the 4th of July. But no face, crypto still flying high. He rides the wave while the rest just drown. Rich list rider, wearing the crown. Liquidation storms can't crack his code. He built his empire on the blockchain road. No face, no case, no trace, no waste. In the crypto game, he's the ace in the race. No face, no case, no need to replace the king of the chain. game, staying in his own space. When the market turned red and the bulls went blind, he stayed steady, sharp, mastermind, refined. While wallets froze and traders wept, he flipped the script and his ledger kept. Bag so heavy, it bends the rules. Swimming through the sharks while they fight for pools. The greatest YouTuber to grace the scene, turning bear markets into a money machine. No face, no case, no trace, no waste in the crypto game. He's the ace in the race. No face, no case, no need to replace the king of the chain, staying in his own space. When the market turned red and the bulls went blind, he stayed steady, sharp, mastermind, refined. While wallets froze and traders wept, he flipped the script and his ledger kept. Bag so heavy, it bends the rules. Swimming through the sharks while they fight for pools. The greatest YouTuber to grace the scene, turning bear markets into a money machine. No face, no case, no trace, no